United States Supreme Court seems like they are trying to give Donald Trump what he wants when it comes to deportation. Well, they're trying to split the baby. And let me explain why. So they have overturned the lower court's decisions on telling the Trump administration to bring back those people that he sent to El Salvador. It was absolutely unconstitutional what he did. They got no due process. Their habeas corpus rights were taken away. Habeas corpus meaning show the body, proof of life kind of thing. No habeas corpus, no due process, no civil rights, just snatching people up off the street. And so many courts have stepped in and said, this is absolutely illegal. You need to bring these people home. Bring them home now. And Donald Trump and his administration have basically just, flouted their power. They're drunk on power, and they just said, no, we're not going to do that. And, or they give like a half-assed excuse, like, oh, the plane was already in the air. Call the pilot. Tell him to turn around. Oh, we can't do anything about it because those guys, they're already in the prison, and that's out of our jurisdiction. Well, we have a contract with the president of El Salvador to keep our prisoners there. That's our contract. We could call them up immediately. They'd be on the plane, toot sweet. The other day, Donald Trump was on Air Force One giving a interview where he said, yeah, it'd be kind of great to send some Americans to, to either Guantanamo or send them to this El Salvadorian prison. Yeah, I think that's a great idea, what Donald Trump said. When I hear people saying that, oh, well, he's only sending the bad guys. First of all, due process rights in this country, if somebody commits a felony or a crime, you charge them, you try them, and if they're found guilty, you put them in prison. We got plenty of space. We are 4% of the world's population. We have 25% of its prisoners. We have private prison industry that is just super profitable right now. They're making money hand over fist. Their stocks are going through the roof. So we got the space. Even though an interview with Attorney General Pam Bondi the other day said, we need to free up the American prisons. So what? She said when it was asked about the fact that 90%, it was a couple days ago, it was 75% of the people that are in that Bukele's dungeon, El Salvadorian Gulag. Let's just call it a Gulag. It might not be named a Gulag. It's fucking Gulag. But a couple days ago, it was 75% were proven to not have any criminal record whatsoever. Now it's 90% of those people, no criminal record. I think a dozen of them are like hardened criminals, which, by the way, shouldn't be sending them out of this country either. Because even though they are criminals, in America, we still have rights, even for prisoners. I mean, or else what's the point? We just accuse you of a crime, we take you out back and shoot you. Gestapo style, I mean, this isn't Russia, is it? Is it Russia? Is it Russia? I don't think it's Russia. The last time I looked, I saw an American flag out there. I thought it was America. Apparently not. And the Supreme Court has stepped in and nullified the decisions that the lower court judges made, but also tried to half-ass it by saying, but they actually do have due process rights. And they didn't say you have to give them due process rights. What they said was you have to give them, the Trump administration or whoever is, trying to deport these people, you have to give them a reasonable amount of time. A lot of weight is hanging on reasonable. I mean, according to Donald Trump and the rest of them that were packing 250 people on a plane to send into that Gulag, they didn't wait. They didn't give any due process. So what's reasonable? A couple of weeks, a couple of days, a couple of hours, 20 minutes. We gave him 20 minutes. He couldn't produce a lawyer, so gone. What are we fucking doing? So the Supreme Court is trying, I see what they're trying to do, and they are doing the wrong thing. And I'll tell you why. What they're trying to do is if we let Trump get, a win every once in a while, then maybe when we say something really serious, that he'll actually listen to us. No, dude. No. That's not how Donald Trump works. That's not how the mob boss mentality works. You give them a little, they take a lot more. You are emboldening him. You are giving him, more, not just more credibility, but, just more confidence in what he is able to get away with. And every time you give him a little bit, he's going to be like, well, let's see what else I can get. Let's see what else, I got most of what I wanted. Maybe if I just press a little harder, maybe I'll get all of what I wanted. And it's unfortunately their ideas, the Supreme Court idea of placating Trump. It's not only not going to work, but is it going to lead to Donald Trump just getting to that point where he goes, you and what army? Oh, now the Supreme Court is telling me what I can't do anymore? Well, okay, I see you made your ruling. Go ahead and try to enforce it. I'll wait. By not holding him to any account, by not backing up the lower courts, which they absolutely know that they should be, without doing that and giving Donald Trump win after win after win, he's not going to stop. And this is going to get uglier and uglier. One of the other decisions that the Supreme Court said is that, we want these immigration issues to be not handled by, courts all willy-nilly, lower courts all willy-nilly. We want them to be directed through this one court, which happens to be the Fifth Circuit Court, which is in Texas, which is packed full of conservatives, which will do whatever Donald Trump wants. And this is the way the Supreme Court can get around having to make any decisions for Donald Trump. He lets the Supreme Courts and John Roberts lets that lower court, the Fifth Circuit, make all those decisions, and then they get to go, well, I wouldn't want to override precedent. They already made their decision. It just so happens to be the decision that Donald Trump wanted in the first place. Never mind all of the other district courts around the country. No. We don't want them to go through that way. We want them to go through this one court right here, which happens to agree with Donald Trump on 95% of every decision that he's ever made. So, no more due process. Honestly, no more civil rights. And when I think back on all of the screaming and yelling that Donald Trump and his team did during in last year while he was going to court for all the crimes that he got away with, 91, I believe, 91 felonies, and he got convicted of 34 of them, and he's president. Nothing we can do. But the whole time, all they were screaming was, this is lawfare. It's lawfare. It's a witch hunt. They're using the law to do warfare. It's lawfare, folks. It's lawfare. Talk about lawfare. You've got the Supreme Court running cover for the president. Oh, by the way, when he gave his little speech, Donald Trump did at Congress, it wasn't the State of the Union because it's the very first year. They don't call it a State of the Union. They just, I don't know. The president addresses Congress. And at the end of the speech, he goes down, he glad hands, he shakes some hands. He goes up to John Roberts on camera, audibly says, thank you for everything that you did for me. I really appreciate it. I won't forget it. Talking about the Supreme Court basically saying, Donald Trump, you can't really hold him accountable for any crimes he did. If he says that what he's doing is a presidential act, doesn't matter if he's trying to overturn a rightful election or not, He says it's a presidential act, so I guess it's just a presidential act, and we're just going to have to get over it, folks. So when you have a Supreme Court running cover, not doing their job, not being a co-equal branch of government like they should be, and you see them bending over for Donald Trump every chance they get, it does not bode well. We have a Congress that is being run by a bunch of sycophantic, weak little bitches in the Republican Party, and a sycophantic Supreme Court. When Donald Trump called himself king, maybe he just is. What are laws? I mean, I guess the Supreme Court doesn't really have a handle on that anymore, even though that they have the Constitution right in front of them, and everything that he's doing negates every line in that goddamn document. They're like, nothing to see here. Anyway, that's the show, folks. Thank you so much for sticking around and watching. I really appreciate it. If you would, please like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate that too. And I hope you have a good rest of your day. I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.